Well, hey folks, real honestly, which I'm Wrestling, my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League Night 15 event, and this is enjoyable. A few good matches, mostly decent ones. Thumbs up for this. Big thank you as always, Jen, for sending me that. I really do appreciate it. And a poll above my head. Let me know what you guys thought. Grade it however you want. I would love to know what you guys saw of this show. And we're down basically to 4 teams in contention. I'll get to that here in just a bit, and I will have a grand total of all the points at the very end of this video. Commentary by Kevin Kelly and Excalibur of PWG and All In fame. Excalibur certainly has a great knowledge of wrestling, and Kevin Kelly, next to Mauro Ranallo, is the best wrestling commentator going today, in my personal opinion. We start off with Ayato and Shota versus Tomohiro Ishii and Yano, and do I really need to tell you what happened? No offense against Ayato and Shota, they're the young lion team. They're basically the feeder team. They get some good shots in. Shota did attack Ishii. That was fine. Ayato did hit some strong kicks. There was some good double teaming. But in the end, after Ishii had locked on the Boston Crab on Shota before, he locked it on again at the end, and Shota ended up having to tap out. And so, yeah, Ishii and Yano keep on rolling, and Ayato and Shota have one more chance to get one victory. I had them pegged for possibly 2 victories. Maybe they'll get 1? Hopefully? Who knows? And you had Jeff Cobb and Michael Elgin versus Nagata and Nakanishi, and heading into this, until a little bit later in the show, Jeff Cobb and Michael Elgin were still technically alive in this tournament, like as far as point totals. The strength versus strength. Cobb did lift Nakanishi. This is probably the least of the matches that was on the show. Nagata hit some really good kicks. There were some good exchanges. Cobb, however, ended up hitting standing moonsault on Nakanishi for the 1-2-3. So yeah, until a little bit later, Cobb and Elgin were on the board and still barely alive in this tournament. And then we get to KES versus Hangman Page and Yujiro Takahashi, and it starts off with, of course, heel work by KES. What the hell else are they going to do? Page and Yujiro hitting some really good dives. Yujiro did end up getting focused on. KES was just beating them down. Page did get tagged, did a really nice moonsault on the Archer. Archer did hit the pounce at one point. There were some good near falls, but in the end, a killer bomb pinned Yujiro for the 1-2-3, and KES is also rolling. So yeah, we're getting some pretty good teams, for the final 4 here, so to speak. They're in contention. So KES gets a victory. So far so basic. I think we all figured that, looking at the card, that these three matches would go this way. And then we get to Finley and Juice versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, both teams out of contention, but playing for pride. And Sabre Jr. and Taichi, really shockingly good team. I know they're Suzuki-gun members, but you look at their styles, you're thinking, how could it work? It actually has worked pretty well. They haven't won every single match, but it has worked pretty well. Of course, you get an attack early by the Suzuki-gun members. I know, I'm as shocked as you guys are. Taichi takes the action outside while Sabre Jr. focuses on the action inside. Juice ends up getting beat down. Finley gets a hot tag. There's some good exchanges, but in the end, after a low blow, the Gato clutch for the 1-2-3, and Taichi and Sabre Jr. eliminate Juice and Finley from World Tag League competition. Both teams are tied with 14 points. And yeah, that was fine. I mean, Juice and Finley weren't going to get to the finals anyway, so you might as well give Sabre Jr. loves to play spoilers in tournaments. He played in the G1 when he eliminated Naito, and he's played it here. Is after winning the New Japan Cup, earlier in March to challenge Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Sakura Genesis in April. That was a fun tournament, by the way. That was the first tournament I actually got to review. Review live from New Japan. God, it's hard to believe it's been almost a goddamn year since I started reviewing New Japan live. And thank you guys so much for sticking with me on that. It's been awesome. We then get back to the action proper with Tenzan and Kojima versus Makabe and Henare. This is enjoyable. Plenty of chops and strikes. Henare doing pretty well. He did get double teamed for a while and beat down some, but he did have some shining moments and everything. Kojima just hugely over. You did have a nice chop exchange with Henare doing Kojima's lightning chops and then Kojima turning that right around and doing that. And I don't remember the exact translation, but I believe he yells out, "I'm going for it, you bastards," or something like that. or I don't know what the whole translation is. Somebody on commentary at one point translated, and I think that's the rough translation of it. You had some really good double teaming by both teams, very good exchanges, but in the end, a big lariat from Kojima pins Hanare for the 1-2-3, and yeah, Tenzan and Kojima obviously aren't going to win the thing. I think it's pretty obvious from the beginning they weren't going to win the thing, but them getting a victory, Hanare has gotten some good victories, but he is still somebody that they're going to have to build for a while, and him eating these pins from a couple legends isn't going to necessarily hurt him because his career is going to go on the ascent over time. I mean, it may take till 2020, but I think he's a rising star. So, Tenzan and Kojima pick up the victory, and then Evil and Sonata versus Suzuki and Izuka. This was enjoyable. This was probably the second best match on the show. You get, of course, the attack at the bell, or before the bell. Action goes outside. Of course, Izuka uses a chair at one point, and then everything just goes into the crowd. Chairs, guardrails, because Suzuki does not care for anybody, any living thing, though he cares for the environment. That is really nice. Guardrail usage, even, he's just throwing guardrails like crazy. Sonata does end up getting double teamed. Izuka gets his mask removed, usual antics. Suzuki just being just lightning quick still at his age, and for all the miles he has on his body, the guy just can move so goddamn well. Evil does get tagged in. He has a back and forth battle with Suzuki. The action breaks down, but then at one point, really nice exchange into the finish, which is a skull end on Izuka, and Izuka taps out just before Suzuki can get in there, away from Evil to break up the fall. So Evil and Sonata get the victory, and they're one of the final four teams that are basically in contention. This was a fun match. It was very enjoyable. And Izuka, of course, being there to take all the falls. I mean, that's pretty damn obvious. And then we get to a match that was surprisingly good, and it wasn't that I had anything against the talents, but I wasn't sure how this was going to go. Because you have one team in contention that actually had the lead. That was Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, or Tangaloa, even though I say Tangaloa, because I know names really well. Versus Chucky T and Beretta, the best friends. Best friends are out of contention, basically, because Chucky T has gone absolutely insane. But this was really, really enjoyable. It was some good double teaming to start out. You had a moonsault outside by Beretta, and then a nice tope by Chucky later. You had some cane usage, of course. Jado had to get involved. You had an apron spot, which, by the way, is the hardest part of the ring, if you did not know. And Chucky does get tagged. He does a dive. Beretta gets tagged. There's a lot of action at this point. Really, really too much to call. The ref gets bumped. Red Shoot gets hit like 3 times. So he's down for a while, getting a nice pack on his neck. At this point, Jado, who had focused earlier on Beretta's ribs with the cane, poking it into his side, was using the cane some. And then you had some more bumps and stuff like that. But Chucky then finally just goes nuts and he no-sells the cane shot. He grabs a chair. He grabs a chair and just waffles Tangaloa like a lot. I mean, just a lot. I mean, he hits him at one point with a chair, and I don't know if Loa bladed or if he just got hard weight. It looked hard weight. That looked pretty damn vicious. He got busted open bad. Chucky pulls a stretcher out from under the ring. I don't know why the stretcher is under the ring, but he slams Tama Tonga on it. And the action breaks down. Tangaloa is wondering what the hell's going on. Referee comes to. He's back in the ring. Beretta gets the roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. And there we go. The best friends basically play spoiler because Tama Tonga and Tangaloa had actually had the lead at this point. They could have gone up to 20 points and basically been in the locked in the finals essentially. But they're not. So now they're one of 4 teams tied at 18. So it's really good drama leading in to the December 7th show, which is what you should have for the final night of tournament action before you get to the to the finals that are going to take place on the 9th. And yes, I'll be reviewing both of those shows. And then we get the main event, it's the same damn thing that we've seen on these last few. It's Tanahashi, Okada, Kushida, and Rocky Romero versus Jay White, Bad Luck Fale, Taiji Ishimori, and Gato. Same stuff you've already seen. A lot of Wrestle Kingdom hype for a couple of the matches going on. It did go outside some. There was Gato did get beat up a lot, which was pretty damn nice. The heels took over. Bellhammer got used a couple times. Rocky was, teamed up on a lot after he had been able to beat up Gato. And Tana got tagged, hit some good moves. Okada got tagged soon after that. He started attacking Jay White. You had Kushida and Ishimori have a nice scrap. But then you had a whole bunch of action breakdown, everything. Blade Runner and Kushida into the Bloody Cross, soon after for the 1-2-3. So Ishimori has pinned Kushida a couple times in these matches. I'm starting to wonder if Ishimori is actually going to beat Kushida because they've kind of alluded to it happening a little too much. Wrestling 101 dictates that maybe, maybe that's not going to happen. So basically, that's what ended up happening. Of course, Bullet Club wins again. You will breathe with the Switchblade, and there we go. So yeah, basically, I'm just gonna give the point totals for, like, you got Evil and Sonata, KES, Ishii and Yano, and Tama Tonga and Tangaloa tied at 18. Everybody else is out. So yeah, I mean, that's certainly not bad. And the last two matches that we're going to have, basically, there's every team's going to compete on tomorrow's show. But Evil and Sonata versus KES and Tama Tonga and Tangaloa versus Ishii and Yano are going to be the two matches essentially that determine which teams are going to go to the finals. We could get Evil and Sonata versus Ishii and Yano. That could be very interesting. So I'm going to say a B minus. B minus for this reason. A couple of the matches actually were decent. It was mostly decent matches with some good ones. So it's like, I'm going to say B minus because I enjoyed this show. Mainly the main event, and I'm sorry, it's not knocking. I know that they have to do it, but it's formulaic. They're doing the same damn match with a couple variations. The talent is perfectly fine, but you can only have the same thing so many times before it starts to get kind of blah. So yeah, we're going to see what happens on December 7th. So B minus, again, the poll is up there. Please let me know what you think. So let's see what happens. Among those last two matches I have, who do you have making it into the finals? I know a lot of you picked Evil and Sonata. Who do you think Evil and Sonata will face if you feel they're going to get the victory? Ishii and Yano or Tama Tonga and Tangaloa? Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. It's been real honesty with John Ritlin, and I will see you tomorrow.